my dreams, aspirations, I mean, big ones. And I'm thinking, well, how many days have I got left? It's hard. Every day must count now. I feel like I can spread a bit of love, and I'm not ready to die yet.
Rambo Lenette really is ripped, there's no doubt about it. She's probably fat of a fork. Unbelievable hit. Driving down Peter, holding on to it, but your winner, Rambo Lenette with the ring.
My name's Rod Lenette. I'm a former British, European and World Arm Wrestling Champion. I first done arm wrestling when I was in the British Army. I feel like I can spread a bit of love, service, and I'm not ready to die yet. From the start, I found that I was always doing it anyway. I mean, my brother's 5 years older than me, and we kind of done arm wrestling every time we had parties, and I was beating some of his mates that were 5 years older than me, so I knew that I had something special, and I was stronger than the average person. My arm wrestling career started after one of our guys in my 1 Squadron RCT, his name's Alan Kavanagh. He went to go to a competition, and the winner of the competition was actually in the film Over the Top by Sylvester Stallone. Anyway, he didn't win that, but he thought this would be a brilliant sport for the Army. I was actually invited to go to the World Championships in 1987 as part of the Army team in the British team, but the sponsor pulled out, and it was supposed to be in Madison Square Gardens. What a start to an arm wrestling career, pulling there, you know, but it was cancelled, and then it went to the UK and England, where Clive Myers saved the day. I started then going and doing, you know, my own thing, and arm wrestling was kind of on the back burner for a while. I got out of the Army in '89, and I wanted to go and pursue arm wrestling, and so I come back, bought the arm wrestling table from 1 Squadron RCT, and then I went forward and started my own club with a few other guys in Essex, called the South East Arm Wrestling Squad, SAS, and we'd done that. We made you know, put ourselves on the map. Within a year, I was like in 1990, I was British champion. It took me actual you know, certain competitions I went in between that, but basically it took my third attempt I become British champion. So it weren't like an overnight thing, but once I became British champion, I maintained that British championships, and I literally every time I turned up I won it. So you know, from there till 1995 I was controlling everything.
I really first met Rod at a competition in Southend. We was both starting our careers really, and I believe we both met in the final, and he only just beat me. But that's how we first met, become good friends from there really, and I've really watched Rod start his career. I've seen him at different levels. I see him actually overtake the godfather of arm wrestling, which was Clive Myers, who started arm wrestling in this country.
Now, Clive Myers come to my 1 Squadron RCT, Gujarat Barracks in Colchester, and he bought an arm wrestling table. First time I've ever seen one. I thought, this is a real sport, arm wrestling. I thought this is something I just enjoy doing anyway. He said, yeah, it's a real sport, it's world championships and this, and I thought, oh my God, you know, there's something that I can feel that I actually belong to here, you know. But I actually had the arm wrestling table in my billiard room, And me and my friend Mark McQuaid, we used to arm wrestle all the time, and we used to love it and learn techniques.
You're unbelievably strong. You're relying on that power.
Going on to the British Championships, the first one I won was in 1990. It was done at the headquarters at the British Arm Wrestling Federation at the time, and it was done in Unit 4 gym, which was very, where all the major British champions were at the time. And I actually joined their ranks by taking the championships away from these guys. I had actually the year before come second, but the first time I won it was with this trophy. That was 1990. It was under 90 kilo, because there was different weight classes then. I was a little bit heavier, and I was very, very proud of this trophy at the time. I still am now. But when you achieve greater things in the future, then obviously these become just another stepping stone to get really where you want to go. Love you, man. I remember that. Going back to this trophy, what it was is, what you dream, and when your dream actually comes true, it puts you into a different situation. Obviously, European and Worlds is another kind of must, but just by gaining one little foot on the ladder and getting recognition and being in the paper and being promoted, it's every time you go into an environment of a competition. Now, it's a reigning British champion. I just love the sound of that, and it gave me a bit of pride in not just that, but looking in the mirror, I felt a better person because I've achieved something that other people couldn't achieve on that day.
Rod's a person that's very passionate about arm wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Eats, sleeps, breathes arm wrestling. As I said, I met him when I was about 14 when he came to my school and ran a competition. And obviously when he came to my school at that time, he was world middleweight champion, he was British middleweight champion. Do you know what I mean? He was the top of his game. Do you know what I mean? So he got us interested in the sport. So do you know what I mean? Rod is the arm wrestler.
1991 was the best achievement year so far. I won the British Championships, I won the European Championships, and I won the world title. And when I won the world title, I won both hands. What I have got, just to show you, is one of my trophies. This is one of the World Championship trophy. Now, there's different organisations now, but in the olden days, Clive Myers is where he started the federation and the association, and he run the World Arm Wrestling Council. And basically, he said this is the one to go to. So I followed his advice, and I achieved the world title, both hands. It's like every time I aim for something, I kind of get something more than I aim for. It's like a mad situation, but I gained it, and it was brilliant. So yeah, this is one. I love it. My health problems started when I was 3 years old. At 3 years old, I went skinny overnight. I literally was put, I was quite an overweight baby, and they put me to bed, my mum did, and literally I was skinny in the morning, and they went, oh my God, what's going on? So obviously they were thinking leukemia, things like this, but they actually got the correct diagnostics, diagnosed of me, and the actual thing is called acquired Lypodistrophy.
Rodney has the most severe form of lipodystrophy. In other words, many patients with lipodystrophy don't lose all of their body fat. In Rod, when we accurately measure his body fat, he really has very, very little remaining body fat. It has been obliterated by this autoimmune attack that happened early in his life. And whereas a lot of patients, in a way, that attack is aborted somehow spontaneously. In Rod, that attack never aborted, and it went on to destroy all his body fat. So since being very young, he has essentially had nowhere to put any of his ingested food other than directly into his muscles, his liver, other places. Now that may have contributed to his muscle development, but it also, and that could be obviously a good thing in terms of muscle strength, but it also contributed to serious disease like his diabetes, his high blood fats, the pancreatitis, the long-standing illnesses he developed. So he had really the most severe form of lipodystrophy.
If you look at my face, it's kind of, it's really, there's no fat content at all. And people say I look a bit funny, you know, and not the same as everybody else. Well, the reason is because I have got lipodystrophy, and basically there's no fat in my body at all. I've got no fat anywhere in my hands, wrists, arms, legs, and my body fat content is negligible. But at the same token, you know, because of the lipodystrophy, the major problem is the fats are being stored in the wrong place. There's only a handful of people in this country that have got what I've got. Now, you can either be born with it or you can acquire it, and they don't even know how you acquire it, and whether it's a genetic loop or segmentation, I don't know. I've got to live with it for the rest of my life, and that's by taking a product called leptin, and that's what I'm doing now. And that's got issues as well, but at the same token, I'll be damned if I didn't and damned if I don't. So that's the way it is.
Leptin is a hormone produced by fat cells that mostly sends most of its messages to the brain. So leptin is a hormone which keeps the brain informed about the amount of nutrients we have stored in the body. Leptin probably evolved hundreds of, millions of years ago. It evolved to allow the brain to know when we weren't storing enough food, when we were starving, for example. So leptin levels fall if a person becomes thinner and thinner. And with the fall in leptin levels, the brain sense of hunger increases. Actually, leptin is also critically involved in switching off the reproductive axis in the brain. It really turns the brain into a food. If you're low in leptin, you become a food-seeking person or animal. So in a way, then that's the worst situation, because here was Rod. He had nowhere to put any food that he was ingesting, but yet the signal from low leptin was saying eat, eat, eat. And so you have the really double whammy of the drive to eat a lot, combined with no safe place to put the excess food.
You know, it's a bad situation, but at the same token, when I was young and youthful, the benefits were I was highly muscular. I didn't have any body fat, but everybody thinks it's a benefit. But the negatives were happening. You know, I became a diabetic when I was 25. You know, that was a major issue. And being a diabetic, you've got, you know, monitor your blood sugars every day. You've got to inject before every meal. You've got to, if you're doing physical activity, you've got to make sure that your blood sugars are elevated that little bit, so when you're burnt some sugars away, that you've still got some energy and don't go low, and then you've got to panic eat, you know, to get your blood sugars up. You know, you're risking, you know, it's a nightmare, diabetes. The lipodystrophy is a nightmare scenario, and but the problem is not many people, especially my GP and where I was at the time, didn't even know what lipodystrophy was. You know, well, they knew what it was, but they didn't think that I had that. They just thought in one stage, they thought I was a hypochondriac.
That when we first saw Rod many years ago, he had evidence of early kidney damage from the autoimmune effect. He had those markers of kidney damage. Now, that kidney damage progressed over the next couple of years, and we really don't know whether that was coincidental or whether leptin allowed or in some way permitted the situation of the autoimmune attack to re-establish itself. There's no way of knowing that, because essentially this is Rod's situation is a one-off.
So now what I do is you got to literally, if you know someone a little bit more inside information about them, you know that they're going to come in like this. You've got to make sure that your defence is in there already, and then as soon as I do that, you're pulling that way. Yeah. So literally, look, I'm off. I've got to be on this blue pad, and then boom, I'm off the pad nearly. Yeah. Now the only way I could do that is literally something that I've got to literally gain height like this, and then you're still going to be pulling me across, and then I'll be pulling you the back there. That's the only way I can come out of that, because your post and your wrist is too strong for me.
Yeah.
So I've now got to literally go upright. So I'm equal with height with you, and then I've got to pull you this side, so I'm opening up this junction here, and that's when I can keep you on the edge.
I picked up the phone, expecting him to go, "Oh, hi Wayne, I've forgotten so-and-so." And it was Adam Brooks. And I went, oh, hello. And they said, is Rod there? And I said, no, he's on his way to Edinburgh because he's on the way to you, sort of thing. He said, well, we'd like to say we're really, really pleased. We've got, it's a kidney for him. I thought, oh my God, okay, well, he's on his way, he's on his mobile. You can ring him on his mobile. So I waited. It felt like the longest 5 minutes ever. And then I thought, right, I'll ring him. So I rang him. I said, have you had the phone call? And he said, what phone call? I said, the phone call. And he's like, the phone call? I said, yes, the phone call. And he went, no, oh my God, someone's trying to ring me. So I said, okay, I'm going to go. So I put the phone down.
I mean, when you know that one of your organs, your major organs that control your body is kind of failing, it kind of puts you in no man's land. If it weren't for the NHS, I'd be dead. If I had stopped treatment within 2 weeks, I'd be dead. It's just such a surreal feeling. I've been in, people in the next bed to me, literally, I don't know, younger than me, have literally died in front of me. And I'm thinking, well, how many days have I got left? When you look in the mirror and I see myself half the man I used to be, and I don't know, it kind of really kind of stresses me out that I actually feel that I'm going to die. And the end of, no more Rod Lenette, it's like, and then I'm thinking about all the things I'd leave behind and all the things I want to achieve and I want to develop and control, and the biggest thing is probably influencing my children's and seeing my children's children, It's hard, facing up to that. Getting emotional now. But at the same token, I wear my heart on my sleeve all the time, and that's why I believe that I'm a warm person. I enjoy what I do. I feel like I can spread a bit of love, and I'm not ready to die yet.
Essentially, when the kidneys have failed to such an extent that they're no longer functioning at all, then the patient requires dialysis, otherwise they would die from kidney failure. So dialysis is a very successful way of keeping patients alive, and it is, one can have a reasonable quality of life on dialysis. But the problems with dialysis, if you're on a machine, then you have to go on the machine 3 times a week for 4 to 6 hours at a time.
Right, dialysis was 3 times a week. It was. I actually chose to do Tuesday, Thursdays and Saturdays, and it was started off 3 hours, but then at the end of it my kidneys were failing that bad that it turned out to be the 4 hours, and 4 hours sitting on a machine is a nightmare, but it kept me alive,
Transplantation is the best treatment in general for someone whose kidneys have failed, but obviously the patient's got to be fit enough to have what's quite a significant operation. So many patients on dialysis may be too old and frail, but for most patients, probably about half of patients on dialysis, then a transplant is the preferred option. Lypodistrophy is a rare disease, and we very rarely see anyone with lypodystrophy in our practice in the case of kidney transplant. So I know of no other patient in this country, or indeed anywhere else, who's had to have a kidney transplant and has lypodystrophy.
In November it'll be 2 years that I've actually had my transplant, so that was a funny old day, wasn't it?
Oh God, it was mad, absolutely mad. Yeah. Oh God. Do you remember when I rang you up? Remember, I thought I rang you and I thought they'd rang you already and they hadn't.
I know, it was crazy. The idea of literally when you actually phoned me and then told me the news, I was that shocked about the situation. I thought, oh my God. The transplant coordinator says, Rod, there's a kidney being made available. Are you interested in accepting that kidney? I said, yes, give me the kidney, whack it in straight away. I made a bit of a joke about it, but I said, right, stay calm, because I was bit hyperventilating. The enthusiasm was coming, and the dreams and aspirations were kind of kicking in. You know, my life is going to be different. You know,
When you sat in the back with about
no, I was
three
actually
other
sitting in the
people.
front seat, and what it was is when I was on the phone, you phoned me up and you told me the news, and then I you said you got to answer this phone call. You know what I mean? Because I got kind of phone call coming in, and I pushed the
Yeah, because
wrong
it rang,
button.
didn't it, as I was talking to you?
Yeah, I pushed the
God.
wrong button, and then next thing you know, I ejected the person that was phoning me up. Oh no, you know what I mean? I've lost the kidney, kind of thing, you know. But it all worked out well.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible there because I remember I was laying in bed, and the transport people had just picked you up, and I thought, oh God, it's Rod. He's forgotten something, or forgot to turn something off, or done something stupid like that time when you thought of the fire, you'd left the cooker on and you'd gone to work, and I had the fire brigade at the door. So, so I thought, oh my God, what's he forgotten now? All right, and it wasn't you. It was them. And I said, oh, are you there? And I said, no. He's on his way to Edinburgh already. So then they went, oh right, that's his in transport. You'll have to ring him on his mobile. And then I remember laying there in bed. It was like, oh my God, the longest 5 minutes. Because I thought I must give him 5 minutes to ring you, to tell you. And I waited 5 minutes, and then when I did ring you, they hadn't rang you.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were very slow on that end, didn't they? They could have phoned me up straight away.
Oh God, it was really, it was horrible. So then they rang you. As I said, they rang you while I was on the phone. So I put the phone down, and you said you was going to ring me back. And you didn't ring me back.
I was on the phone for a
waiting.
while. They had to tell me what the procedure was and what to do.
Well, I didn't know that, did I?
Yeah, I know. But as soon as I did, I knew what was going on. We arrived at Edinburgh while I was on the phone to them.
Oh wow! So yeah, I'm just outside.
So literally, I got there, found out the system, got the blood test done, and then once I'd done that, it was literally a case of wait.
Go! Yeah! Yeah!
And I actually feel arm wrestling. I don't just do it blind like a lot of people do, one technique, bang, right? I try to absorb their power and give them twice as much back. And this is what I've been doing I've now been on my road to recovery. It's been a year since I've had my transplant, and I'm telling you now, 6 months is good enough for anybody. I am now world class. I am now ready to take on the world. I'm now ready to compete and represent my country. This is what I've been dreaming about for a long, long time. This is my ultimate goal, to be in that Great Britain shirt, pride in hand, and literally ready to take on whoever is in front of me.
It's a real Rocky story, this, I believe. You know, not many people can come back and lead a normal life, let alone the abnormal life that Rod leads. He's training early in the morning, he's training last thing at night. If I had half the energy he had, you know, I'd be a better person. His sole drive is to be world champion and have a successful business, and I'm going to be right there along with him to witness this. And I want it as much for him as he wants it for him. I think he's got a great family, he's got good friends, he's got good support. There's not many things that are wrong in Rod's life now.
Now, this trophy here, it's the British Championships, under 75 kg, right-handed, and, you know, I gained it in 2009. Now, that's I am the current British champion, and now, when I think of what I've been through, I've been on dialysis for 5 years. I've had a transplant. I've got a donor kidney inside me. Someone had to die. Well, they didn't have to die, but they died, and they donated me a kidney. All these consequences come together to create a new situation for me and my family. You know, my family mean a lot to me, my children. You know, it's like before I couldn't do nothing with them, now I can. You know, this is symbolising where I am now. I'm in such a better place. I think that without all this coming together, you know, I've now got the belief I actually want to become world champion.
Rod Rambo will be a household name by 2012. They'll need to make it an Olympic sport just for him.
I can only see good things for the future, really. I can see him just getting further and further along, and I can see him going to the world. So I really, really can.
I can say to the sceptics and the people that probably told Rod, don't do that, it's a pipe dream. Watch this space. Rod's coming, and it's going to be fast, it's going to be quick, it's going to be fun.